Good evening, folks. It's your bro Richie Rich here. Uh, Tonight in this video, it is now another extended video of the previous um, um, GM LS based small block motor. And tonight I'm still doing the Gen 5, still continued. And tonight in this video, I'm now doing the next one, which is the 6.6 liter V8. Starting off with the first one is the L8T. So, before I start, make sure you guys all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all so you don't make brand new uploads. Okay. Okay, so without any further ado, let's continue on from where I left off to from last video. So moving on, so the next one is the 6.6 liter V8. Starting off with the first one is the L8T. Here we go. So the L8T's the first cast iron cast iron motor block member of the Gen 5 family, and is the successor to the 6 liter Gen 6 liter Gen Gen 4 L96 V8. It shares its 103.25 millimeter 4.065 inch bore with other 6.2 liter V8s such as the L86, but so with other 6.2 liter V8s such as the L86, but with a longer stroke of 98 millimeters, 3.9 will run up like close to 4 inches to displace 6.5 liters. Well, 6.564 liters, but still technically 6.5 liters. Pretty good. at 5200 RPM for power and 4000 for torque. It's rated for 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet, 630 newton meters of torque. So 630 newton meters of torque. So 630 newton meters of torque. So 630 newton meters of torque. The compression ratios 10.8. 10.8. So the compression ratio is 10.8 to 1. The longer stroke yields little additional peak torque output compared to the L86, but only requires 87 octane fuel. but only requires 87 octane. But only requires 87 octane. The strokes also shorter than the LS7s, 101.6 millimeter 4 inch to optimize rod ratio for reliability, rather than allowing a high strung rather than allowing a high strung small block to fail the heavy duty truck market. The cast iron block lack of both start stop and cylinder deactivation, longer stroke and rod ratio, lower compression, lesser 87 octane requirement, greater displacement, forged excuse me, forged connecting rods or forged con rods. So forged con rods, forged con rods, and forged crankshaft with central counterweights all suggest that the L8T was designed specifically to to assuage. I can't pronounce the word correctly, but it's spelled ASSUAGE. I can't pronounce the word correctly. The heavy duty truck market's concerns. Next is the applications. Alright, for applications, we only got two cars. But first we got the Chevy Silverado HD, high definition, and the GMC Sierra. Both the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra HD, both high definition cars. So from 2020 onwards and from 2021 and onwards, both the Chevy Express and GMC Savannah 25, 35, and 4500s both make 5200 RPM for power, 5200 RPM for power, and 4000 for torque, 401 horsepower, and 464 pound-feet, 630 newton meters of torque. Pretty good. Alright, next is the L8P. But before I do that, I'm just gonna get a quick drink. First, gotta put this on charge. See if it charges, because my phone hasn't been charging properly for like the past couple of days. And it's because of this charger. So it's a bit of a problem, but oh well. Okay, there we go. Charging 18%, my god. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit. Just gonna get a quick drink, because my throat is dry, I can't talk properly. But I'll be back in a bit. Don't worry. I'm still here. Not going anywhere. Just getting water. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Is that which percent again? Yeah, it's a bit too faulty, but 90%, but I'll try to do as fast as I can. We'll see how it goes. Alright, next up is the L8P. So the L8P is a Chevy Performance crate motor, released this year, in fact, in 2025. That takes the base, the standard L8T, and adds high performance headers, camshafts, and pistons. The L8P has the L8P has the same displacement, 6.6 liters, but is rated but is at 5800 RPM for power and 4600 for torque, but is rated at 523 horsepower so 523 horsepower and 500 so 523 horsepower and 543 pound, so 523 horsepower and 543 pound-feet of torque, which is roughly, I'd say, about 750, maybe 800 newton-meters of torque. I'm not so sure, actually. So yeah, 5800 RPM for power, 4600 for torque, but it's rated at 523 horsepower and 543 pound-feet of torque. So 523 horsepower, so 523 horsepower and 543 pound-feet of torque on premium pump gasoline. So premium pump gas. Next is the 3.78 inch bore blocks. So 3.7 inch bore, so 3.78 inch bore blocks from 2014 and onwards. So unlike the previous Gen 3 and 4, so unlike the previous Gen 3 and unlike the previous Gen 3 and 4, so Gen 3 and 4, um, uh, 3.78 inch bore block families. There's no 4.8 liter 290 4.8 liter 290 displacement variant having been replaced by GM's Gen 5 LT V8 based V6, the 4 known as the 4.3 liter LV3. Never heard of the kind of name for a motor, but that's pretty cool. Next is the 5.3 liter. Starting off with the first one is the L83. So next is the 5.3 liter. Say 5.3 liter. Um, next is a 5.3 liter. Um, starting off with the first one is the L83, dubbed Ecotech 3. So dubbed Ecotech 3. The 5.3 the 5.3 liters, a Gen 5 small block V8 truck motor. VIN code was C. Like its predecessor, the Vortec 15, like its Vortec 5300, like its Vortec 5300, Gen 4. So Vortec 5300 Gen 4 predecessor. It gets its displacement from a bore and stroke of 96 by 92 millimeters, 3.78 by 3.62 inches, with a compression ratio of 11 to 1, so 11.0 to 1 typically. Alright, so next we got the applications for the L83. So we got 3 cars, and the power and torque is a little bit different, but I'll tell you why. For these 3 vehicles, starting off with the first one is the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500, both from 2014 to 2019. So so 2014-19 Chevy Silverado and Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500, and a 2015 2020 Chevy Tahoe and GMC Yukon, and from the same year, the 2015-2020 Chevy Suburban and GMC Yukon XL. They all make at 5600 RPM, 355 horsepower, and at 4100 RPM, 383 pound-feet, 519 newton meters of torque. But there's a little bit of an extra surprise. Here's the fun part. As a little extra bonus. It makes the same RPM for power and same RPM for torque, 376 horsepower, 376 horsepower, and 416 pound-feet, 564 newton meters. 564 newton meters. Reason being is the fuel type. The standard, the one with the least amount of power, just runs on regular pump gas. But because the ones that have like a little bit more power, those run on E85. So if we're, depending on the different fuel type, we'll verify the different power output the cars will have. So the ones that run with more power will run on E85 fuel. So this is the difference. Different fuels require different power outputs for cars, depending on what fuel you use. Pretty much, it depends. So that's the that's that's the difference there. Next is the L8B. So it's not much on it for anyway. So it's not much on. So it's not much on there anyway for this. So the L8B is a E assist mild hybrid version of the L83. So of the L83, featuring a 0.45 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. This setup, so 0.45 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. Lithium ion battery pack. So lithium ion battery pack. This setup can improve fuel efficiency by this setup can improve fuel efficiency by about 13%. Say by about 13%. This adds about 100 pounds, 45 kilos to the total weight of the truck, but provides an additional, so an extra 13 horsepower and 44 pound-feet, 60 newton meters of torque more. So 44 pound-feet, 60 newton meters more torque. So the applications for that. So there's only one. Is the 2016-2018 Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 hybrid version at 5600 RPM for power and 4100 for torque. It makes 355 horsepower and 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet, 519 newton meters of torque. Well, 520 newton meters of torque technically. Next is the L82 and L84. The L82 is one of two 5.3 liter V8s available in the Gen 4. The L82 is one of the two 5.3 liter V8s. This is one of the two 5.3 liter V8s available in the Gen 4 Silverado and Gen 5. So available in both the Gen 4 Silver and available both in the Gen 4 Silverado and Gen 5 GMC Sierra. The L82 uses AFM, active fuel management, instead of the L84's DFM, dynamic fuel management system, and is only available excuse me, and is only available in lower trim trucks. The L84 is one of two 5.3 liters, So the L84 is one of two 5.3 liter 5.3 liter V8s. 5.3 liter V8s available in both the Gen 4. So available again in both the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra. But the Gen 4 versions of those two trucks. The L84 is distinguished from the L80 from the L82 by the presence of the DFM system or dynamic fuel management system, and is either available or standard on mid to high level trims. So the L84 or the L84s. So the L84 is also the um, base motor on the 2021 and onwards Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, GMC Yukon, Chevy Suburban, and GMC Yukon XL. Now we got applications for this. So we got the first one. So first one is the L82. So it's for the 2019 to 2020, from 2019 to 2020, 2019 to 2021 Chevy Silverado slash GMC Sierra, uh 5600 RPM for power, 4100 for torque. It makes 355 horsepower, and so so this one has the L82. And next we got the L84. I'll explain the power and torque a little bit later now. So, I'll talk to you about it a little bit in a bit, because they all have the same exact power output. For 2019 and onwards, we got the we got the another Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra, same one. So 5600 RPM for power and 4100 for torque RPM levels. And for 2021 and onwards, we got both the Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe and Chevy Tahoe and GMC Yukon, and the Chevy Suburban, and both the Chevy Suburban and GMC Yukon XL. So 5600 RPM for power, and so 5600 RPM for power, and 4100 for torque. It makes the same power and torque configuration levels as the 2016-18 Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 hybrid. 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet, 519 or 520 newton meters, or 520 newton meters of torque. So they pretty much make the same exact power levels and torque levels as the previous cars. So as the previous 2016-18 Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 hybrid. Next is the 3.921. Next is a 3.921 inch bore blocks from 2014 and onwards. These V6s are based on these V6s are these V6s are based on the V8 version. V8 version. So V8 version of the Gen 5 family, but with two fewer cylinders, so it's a little bit lighter. A design lineage that dates back to the previous 4.3 liter V6, which was itself a Gen 1 small block with a pair of cylinders removed. So one bank of two cylinders. So one bank of one cylinder removed. So from two banks, so like two cylinders are removed, so it makes it a little bit lighter. So which is itself a Gen 1 small block with a pair of cylinders removed, only two, to make it a V6 instead of a V8. Of special note, there are no V6s based on Gen 2, 3, or 4 small block V8s. Next is the 4.3 liter dubbed Ecotech 3 Ecotech 3. So Ecotech 3. The 4.3 liters a Gen the 4.3 liters a Gen 5 a Gen 5 small block a Gen 5 small block V6 truck motor. It get it gets its it gets its displacement from bore and stroke of 99.6 by 92 millimeters, 3.921 by 3.921 by 3.622 inches, with a compression ratio of 11 to 1. Firing orders 165416542. So 165432. This motor replaces the unrelated 4.3 liter V6 whose lineage dates back to 1978. So during the late 70s, before the start of the very early 1980s, by 2 years less. Next is the LV3. So application is only one car for the job. It's the 2014-2021 Chevy Silverado slash GM so Chevy Silverado slash GMC Sierra 1500 at 5300 RPM for power and 3900 for torque. It makes between 285 to 297, so 285 to 297 horsepower. So 285 to 297 horsepower. Ooh, God, that hurts. Ow. Between 285 to 297 horsepower. Between 305 to 330 pound-feet. 414 to 447 newtons of torque. So 5300 RPM for power and 3900 so 5300 RPM for power and 3900 for torque. The reason why there is a 12 horsepower 12 horsepower and 25 pound-feet, 33 newton meters of torque difference there is because the one with more power runs on E85 fuel, like I mentioned previously. Okay, the last one is the LV1. And holy crap. Okay, so the last one is the LV1. The motor is essentially the same as the LV3, but without AFM technology. But without AFM tech, active fuel management technology. So active fuel management technology. The active fuel management technology. The LV1 the LV1 made its debut in the 2018 model year GM full-size vans. Both the 2018 Chevy Express and 2018 GMC Savannah, as the successor to the Gen 4.8 liter L20 V8 motor. So application is only one vehicle for the job. Is the is the 2018 and onwards Chevy Express and GMC Savannah, both 25 and 3500s, 5200 RPM for power, so 5200 RPM for power, and 4000 for torque. It makes 265 horsepower, 265 horsepower, and 295 pound-feet, 400 newton meters of torque. Next is the Gen 5 small block. Next is the Gen 5. GM announced in January 2023 the start of early 2023, during like the like the early mid 20s, pretty early mid 2020, something like that. So GM announced GM announced in GM announced in January 2023 that plans that plans for a Gen 6 small block were in place, with the company investing a colossal 800 $854 million into investing $854 million into its various manufacturing plants. The timeline for the release of the new gens not yet public. GM has announced GM has announced that GM has announced that GM has announced GM has announced that the Gen 6 GM has announced that the Gen 6 V8 small block would be produced. GM has announced that the Gen 6 small block V8 will be reduced. V8 will be produced in both Flint, Minnesota, and Tonawanda, New York. So Tonawanda, New York. Say New York. Tonawanda, New York. Say Tonawanda, New York. Okay, so okay, so next we got holy hell. What? Oh my god, what? We got the engine sample next. Oh my god, there's so many. I can't even count how many there is, my lord. Wait, I gotta check. Hold on, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, hold on, I lost count. Crap. Okay, so this is with the different gens. So we got there is so we got 9 versions for the Gen 3. $18 versions for the Gen 4. So it's like 27, I think. It's 41 in the aftermarket OEMs. What? Oh my god, at least 45. What? Oh my god, man. Oh my god. But I reckon I'm gonna do it for the next video, I promise. Okay, so that'll be it for now. I'll be back in a bit for the next video. So if you guys like this video, like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you know when I make brand new uploads. Alright, so that'll be it. I'll see you guys in a bit for the next video. But until then, stay safe, have a great evening, and have a great day tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys soon in the next video. So yeah, take care, folks. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.